Hi, Andre.
Hello.
Welcome. Here's a cup of coffee.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrei Alexandru Popa. I am an associate professor at SDU in Sønderborg, and I am also the head of the Mechatronics program. So what makes Mechatronics different than other engineering programs? What you can expect by taking an education in Mechatronics in Sønderborg is more or less a double degree, and let me tell you what I mean by that. When I will hopefully be standing on stage and handing you your online diplomas, I should actually be giving you two of them. One for the technical aspects, but also a language diploma. You will be the only engineers fluently able to speak the language of mechatronics to other people. So which disciplines repeat in this study program? Mechatronics is a bit of a tough one to define. It lies at the intersection of mechanics, electronics, software, advanced control strategies, but really where electronics shines is in the cracks between these disciplines. So as a student at SDU Sønderborg in mechatronics, you guys can expect to have themes rather than repetitive courses and really focus on the integration and interplay between these disciplines. What is a common misconception about mechatronics? I have a ton of those, simply because mechatronics is so hard to define. But I can tell you guys one thing. Quite often I hear that mechatronics makes you jack of all trades and master of none. And I could not possibly disagree more. Because indeed, you don't seek the specialization in one of the many disciplines that constitute mechatronics, but you seek the interplay between these. And as such, you become uniquely qualified as an engineer to work in multidisciplinary teams. So it's not that you are weaker than equivalent specialized engineers. You're not supposed to compete against them. You're supposed to unite them and bring those competences forward technically and, as I said earlier, a little bit in the language of engineering in a broader sense. So what should one understand before starting mechatronics? Don't pretend you are an expert in all disciplines, because you are not. You will graduate and you will be successful in your career as a mechatronics engineer, still not being an expert in all of the disciplines. So what you should rather focus on is having the open mind to accept that you will find things you like and you prefer in detriment of others, and those are the ones you should pursue within mechatronics while still having a base that's broad enough to make you able to speak this language. So again, math is very important. We can't shy away from that. We're doing an engineering degree, but math is a means to an end in this. So make sure you are not scared of integrals, but then again, be also very much comfortable with building things. The mechatronics education is very, very hands-on. And following the DESME model, which basically means that a third of your time as engineers, engineering students, will be related to project work, which is unique to SDU engineering. This means that you need to focus a lot on allowing yourselves to break stuff, allowing yourselves to learn by breaking stuff, and sometimes breaking stuff on purpose in order to learn. So what does a typical study day look like for a student at mechatronics? We have an education structured in such a way that a third of your time, at least a third of your time, is dedicated exclusively to project work. So semester projects where you build stuff, where you take the knowledge from your theory courses and you make something move intelligently. And this happens throughout the semester. The last 3 to 4 weeks of the semester, if you find yourself there, well, let's say that the ratio of work versus sleep tends to get skewed a little bit, but there's also a lot of fun in that. But that's a full-time project period in which you exclusively make the stuff that was kind of working until that point to actually fulfill what it should. And yeah, generally, there's of course an exam period, which can be better or worse handled by the preparation you have. But overall, I think uniquely to the mechatronics education and SDU engineering in general is that you have a lot of project work compared to other places. So what surprises students the most about mechatronics? This is how quickly they are able to build intelligent things. They don't spend their entire education until they're ready to build an autonomous system. They spend a semester and they're able to make intelligent houseplant watering devices. So it's really the speed of them getting into a prototyping phase. So what are the future career opportunities after graduation for mechatronics graduates? Generally, the classic career path for a mechatronics engineer has been to spend the first couple of years in R&D, transitioning towards becoming a project manager because their interdisciplinary skills lend themselves very well to managing teams of engineers. What can also happen is that we have started great initiatives within startups, within students joining other student startups, and that starts taking a larger chunk of the graduates than, let's say, the classic employment path. This is why mechatronics is great. You're prepared for, well, anything in a broader sense. So what do mechatronics graduates typically end up working with? Intelligent things, autonomous systems, smart devices. Depending on how much you are keen to pursue one of these specializations or the disciplines within mechatronics, you might become an embedded programmer, you might become someone that's really keen on mechanics. But no matter what, you don't become a mechanical engineer with benefits. You still have the entire pedigree of a mechatronics engineer. So you can work interdisciplinary, you can still work more specialized, and thinking of what many successful graduates we've had in this program over the years have been working with, they're generally never too far away from some kind of automation. If I should explain mechatronics to a 5-year-old, I would say that try to imagine some very intelligent system, robot, manipulator, what have you, and think now of something it still cannot do. The unimaginable is what you end up building, and that is the pedigree of mechatronics. If I should give you an advice before applying to this program, it would be relentless. Go and absorb the way Danish higher education is carried, where everything is more or less flattened out, and you really get to access all the resources which otherwise you might think unattainable. Ask questions, annoy people with these questions, but also come prepared. Come prepared in the sense that you have put a bit of effort into understanding what you want to learn, but it's completely fine not to understand it. Nobody will ever punish you for being curious. So don't in any way believe that if you don't have the answers up front, you cannot start this education. Just have the willingness to absorb the knowledge within the way we teach this, which is very hands-on and close to the students. So we hear this quite often, that AI might become a threat to engineering educations in general, and mechatronics as no exception. I think AI can be detrimental as long as it is mishandled, just like any other kind of technology. In mechatronics, we are at the forefront of integrating machine learning and AI, and we have been for a few years already, even before the AI bubble started to blow. You cannot avoid using AI, but it's not because you should try avoiding it. Our education is tailored such that you need to use AI to solve certain problems because we want to train you to become more effective engineers. You will not go to a job in which your boss or manager or colleagues will say, "Can you help me with this problem, but do not use the internet or do not use AI." So we're not going to teach you in an archaic way if you have to end up working in your professional life using modern tools. So we embrace AI. At the same time, we need to understand where it makes sense. So what we can recommend, and I can say directly to you guys about AI, is you'll get a lot of it here, but you need to learn, and we'll teach you where it starts making sense and where good old-fashioned fundamentals still play a big role. A particularity of the mechatronics education in Sønderborg is that if you look at the student body in Sønderborg right now, 1 in 5 students from tech, from the engineering faculty, are actively involved in an engineering-related student club. They build race cars, they build rockets, they build drones, they build battle bots, they build all kinds of, in the end, mechatronics things, together with their colleagues from the other educations. And this culture that we are so proud to establish and see the students growing themselves is taking off simply, and we have every interest to support further. In that sense, we have staff, researchers that are linked to these clubs. So you're not in the dark and you don't know necessarily where to get stuff manufactured. You don't know how to purchase things. So all of these things, on one hand, are supported by the educations, but we are also looking at it the other way around. Can the culture of student clubs influence and impact positively our education as well? So we are quite often supporting the student clubs by having their challenges be addressed in either some of the project work we do or some of the coursework sometimes. So it makes perfectly good sense to me that the synergy between being a mechatronics student and being part of these clubs should be further explored. So thinking about the hands-on productivity within mechatronics, I can give you an example that happens in the first 3 weeks of the education. So this is for first semester mechatronics within the course that I actually teach. It's called Mechanical Design, where I try to do a bit of a sped-up crash course within reverse engineering. So rapid prototyping, with 3D scanning, can we fix things, and so on. You will need to construct a plumbus. The plumbus is a device that can do anything and everything, and within the first 3 weeks of your mechatronics education in this course in mechanical design, you will build a plumbus by scanning different objects that you find randomly on this planet and putting them together, slicing them, learning how to 3D print them, learning how to 3D scan, of course, laser cutting and doing modifications. So this is the first thing you hold in your hands within less than a month after you have started your education here. And that's, I think, a pretty good message speaking towards how quickly you build stuff. All right, so we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, fantastic. Take care, guys.